watching DD India Live, India's voice to the world. I'm Prasar Bharati. Coming up in the next 30 minutes. Hamas releases 3 more Israeli hostages in exchange of 369 Palestinian prisoners under Gaza ceasefire deal. Zelenskyy says Ukraine has low chance of survival without US backing. US Vice President J.D. Vance makes no mention of Kiev at Munich conference. The United States Army bans transgenders from joining military after Trump's order. OpenAI rejects Elon Musk's takeover offer, says it was not a bid at all. Hamas has released 3 more Israeli hostages in exchange for 369 Palestinian prisoners in Israeli custody on Saturday. Israeli-American Sagui Dekel-Chen, Israeli-Russian Shasha Trupanov and Israeli-Argentinian Yair Horn were released by Hamas today as part of the 42-day ceasefire deal. Red Cross vehicles arrived at the Israeli hostage handover site in Gaza's Khan Yunis. It is the 6th swap of a truce that was earlier nearing to collapse this week, as both Israel and Hamas traded accusations of violating the January 19 ceasefire. Meanwhile, Israelis gathered in Tel Aviv's Hostage Square as they await the homecoming of their family members. Those gathered held signs and photographs of loved ones as well as Israeli flags. The 61st Munich Security Conference kicked off in Munich, Germany on Friday, bringing together world leaders to discuss pressing global security challenges. This year's conference takes place amid major political shifts, including a new US administration, which could significantly impact contemporary international relations. DD India's Yash Chaturvedi brings us latest updates.
A key focus at the conference is the Ukraine war, with EU Foreign Policy Chief Kaja Kallas calling for a meeting of European leaders on Sunday to discuss relations with the Trump administration in the context of the ongoing conflict. On the sidelines of the conference, US Vice President J.D. Vance met with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenskyy, but his speech largely avoided mentioning Russia or Ukraine. Instead, Vance criticized European leaders over issues of free speech and immigration. He emphasized the need for a durable and lasting peace in Eastern Europe rather than a short-term resolution. However, no critical minerals deal was announced, a key component of Ukraine's strategy to secure US support.
We want the war to come to a close. We want the killing to stop, but we want to achieve a durable, lasting peace, not the kind of peace that's going to have Eastern Europe in conflict just a couple years down the road.
Meanwhile, Zelenskyy also met with EU Commission President Ursula von der Leyen following a phone conversation between US President Donald Trump and Russian President Vladimir Putin, where Trump suggested Ukraine could neither reclaim all its territory nor join NATO. Beyond the Ukraine conflict, the conference also saw a significant diplomatic exchange from Chinese side as well. As the Munich Security Conference continues, discussions on Ukraine, US-Europe relations and China's role in global diplomacy remain at the forefront of international security dialogue. Bureau Report, DD India.
US Secretary of State Marco Rubio will visit Israel as part of his first Middle East diplomacy tour. During his 4-day visit from February 15th to 18th, Rubio will visit Israel, Saudi Arabia and the United Arab Emirates. On the first leg of his Middle East visit, Rubio will arrive Israel late on Saturday. The US Secretary of State is expected to hold talks with Israeli PM Netanyahu on Gaza truce. According to State Department, Rubio's engagements with senior Israeli officials will promote US interests in advancing regional cooperation, stability and peace. Rubio's visit will center on freeing American and all other hostages from Hamas captivity and advancing to phase 2 of the ceasefire agreement in Gaza. Saudi Arabia will host the leaders of 4 Arab countries at a summit on February 20th to discuss US President Trump's proposal for a US takeover of Gaza. The leaders of Egypt, Jordan, Qatar and the United Arab Emirates will attend the summit to take place ahead of an Arab League meeting in Cairo 1 week later on the same issue. Trump sparked a global outcry with his proposal for the United States to take over the Gaza Strip and to move more than 2 million Palestinians out of the territory, citing Egypt or Jordan as possible destinations. Trump made the proposal during a visit by Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu to Washington. Arab countries have come together in a rare united front, outraged by the idea of displacing the Palestinians en masse. Updates from Democratic Republic of Congo now. M23 rebels have entered Bukavu, the eastern region's second largest city, on Friday. The leader of Congo, which includes M23 rebels, said the M23 rebels would continue their advance on Saturday. The rebels have been trying to push south towards Bukavu since they seized Goma, the largest city in eastern Congo, at the end of last month. The capture of Bukavu would represent an unprecedented expansion of territory under the M23's control since the latest insurgency started in 2022. The Rwandan-backed militants' progress comes despite international calls for a ceasefire and a resumption of peace talks. The escalating conflict in Democratic Republic of Congo is set to dominate the African Union summit, which began Saturday, with the DRC president absent after Rwandan-backed forces seized a second major city on his territory. The 55-nation body is meeting in the Ethiopian capital Addis Ababa as Africa faces devastating conflicts in the DRC and Sudan, as well as US President Donald Trump's cuts to US development aid, which have hit the continent hard. With the specter of regional conflagration rising in eastern DRC and international bodies increasingly sounding the alarm, the AU has been criticized for its timid approach and observers have demanded more decisive action. East and Southern African leaders on February 8th called for an immediate and unconditional ceasefire within 5 days, but fresh fighting erupted on Tuesday. Protests broke out in New York City after the word transgender was removed from the US National Park Service website of a monument to the 1969 Stonewall riots, a foundational moment in the struggle for LGBTQ rights. It comes as the US President Donald Trump's transgender policy began with a day one executive order delegitimizing the gender identity. The monument's website was altered on Friday, changing the widely used LGBTQ acronym to LGB throughout the website. All references to transgender or queer people were also erased. Several hundred people carried signs bearing slogans, "Transhumans are the symbol of American freedom," as they rallied in New York City against the move.
Just wanted to be included. We wanted equality. It's not some strange question of whether or not we exist. It's whether or not they want us to, and they don't get to decide. It's just not up to them.
The United States Army has officially announced that it will no longer allow transgender people to join the military and will stop facilitating procedures related to gender transformation for service members. In a statement shared on X, the US Army said that the decision takes effect immediately and all new sections for people with a history of transgender dysphoria are stopped and all medical procedures related to facilitating or affirming a gender transition for service members have been paused. This comes after President Donald Trump signed an executive order banning transgender ideology and invented pronouns in the troops as part of his first set of sweeping actions after return to the White House. In the central Serbian city of Kragujevac, protesters gathered in a demonstration on Friday evening ahead of mass demonstrations planned for Saturday. The all-day protest in Kragujevac was the largest gathering to fore in a wave of nationwide demonstrations in the country since being triggered by a deadly collapse at a railway station that killed 15 people in November. Led by students, the protests have also seen teachers, lawyers and other workers turn out on the streets to show their dissatisfaction with the government under Serbian President Aleksandar Vučić. Opposition parties and rights watchdogs accuse Vučić and his Serbian Progressive Party of bribing voters, stifling media freedom, violence against opponents and ties with organized crime. Allegations Vučić and his allies deny. The operator of Japan's Fukushima nuclear power plant began the process of dismantling treated radioactive water storage tanks to clear space needed to store nuclear fuel debris to be extracted from the reactors. This step is a milestone of a sort as Tokyo Electric Power Company TEPCO moves ahead with a decades-long project to dismantle the entire plant in northern Japan, which went into meltdown after it was hit by a catastrophic tsunami in 2011. Since the accident, TEPCO has stored around 1.3 million tons of water at the site, along with water used for cooling the reactors. The water is filtered to remove various radioactive materials, but has remained inside more than 1,000 tanks that occupy much of the plant's ground. After removing the tanks, the utility plans to build facilities to store highly dangerous molten fuel debris to be extracted from inside the reactors. Scrapping the water tanks became possible after TEPCO began releasing the stored water from the plant into the Pacific Ocean in August 2023. Let's see what's happening around the world. Salvador's National Navy seized 1.7 metric tons of cocaine valued at $44.8 million in a special operation, according to a statement by Security Cabinet. 3 people have also been arrested in connection with the case. Around 300 Argentines staged 24-hour march against President Milei's legal reforms, as well as his conservative social views that include his anti-feminist, anti-abortion stance, as well as his gender ideology. A bridge collapsed in northern Peru, causing a double-decker bus and a car to plunge into river, killing at least 2 people. Dozens of people were injured in the accident and were brought to hospital for medical aid. 64 migrants were rescued off Canary Islands by a Spanish Coast Guard vessel. The migrant boat carrying the group of migrants was spotted 6 miles south of Gran Canaria. And still to come on this edition of DD India Live. India's Vande Bharat Express turns 6. As Mahakumbh witnesses record spree, another one is in pipeline in the form of largest sanitation drive. Stay tuned to know more.
हमारे ज़माने में अगर परीक्षा पे चर्चा जैसी कोई चीज़ होती तो शायद बात ही कुछ और होती।
आप जो जिस प्रोफेशन में हैं आपको उसकी सबसे अच्छी चीज़ कौन सी लगती है?
Boys and girls, join your hands together. भूमि पेडनेकर।
मैं एक बहुत ही ओबीडियंट स्टूडेंट थी। छोटी उम्र में मुझे रियलाइज हो गया था कि मुझे एक अभिनेत्री बनना है।
विक्रांत मैसी।
I was average or above average because you have to continue to learn new things.
जब आपने अपने पिता को खोया,
सर जब मेरे पिताजी गुजरे, तरीका जीवन का पकड़ लिया था कि मुझे अपने स्ट्रेंथ्स पे खेलना होगा। मोदी जी उन्होंने जो किताब लिखी है एग्जाम वॉरियर्स, उसमें उन्होंने एक बात कही थी दैट सेलिब्रेट योर स्ट्रेंथ्स।
मोदी जी कहते हैं कि नॉलेज इज पावर।
How should students handle high expectations from their parents?
वो बर्डन जिस दिन लगने लगती है ना तो उनको वो they are not able to grow.
ये इतनी आपको घबराने की जरूरत नहीं है और मैं प्रॉमिस करती हूँ कि मैं आपको डिसअपॉइंट नहीं करूँगी। मैं अपने पेरेंट्स को बहुत प्राउड करूँगी और मैंने वो किया। Well done, I'm surprised.
एक एक वर्ड में बताइए आपने क्या क्या सीखा।
कोई भी कितनी भी बड़ी प्रॉब्लम क्यों ना आ जाए हमारी लाइफ में, उसे हमें पॉजिटिव वे में लेके सॉल्व करने की ट्राई करनी चाहिए।
हमें किसी भी चीज का अहंकार नहीं होना चाहिए।
Respect your failures.
Very well said.
हमारा यूथ, हमारा फ्यूचर।
You guys are very lucky.
Truly, truly, truly very thankful.
And if you do not meet your expectations, restart.
You're watching DD India Live. I am Siddharth Bharadwaj, and motivational speaker and founder of Isha Foundation Sadhguru Jaggi Vasudev on Saturday interacted with students in the 8th edition of Prime Minister Narendra Modi's Pariksha Pe Charcha program. While speaking with the students, Sadhguru said that a textbook is not a challenge for your intelligence, no matter who you are.
Education is not about examination. Examination is just an evaluation to see whether you're fit enough to go to the next step or not. And education is about giving you access to life. What I'm telling you is, you must keep your intelligence in a dynamic mode. Doesn't matter what it is, because education is about giving you fundamentals which will give you access to life.
Sadhguru also said that everybody can sparkle and do things that others cannot imagine.
Everybody can sparkle and do things that others cannot imagine. Everybody. Only thing is, because there is no striving, that sparkle doesn't happen. But recent studies have shown, when people become very meditative, with Shambhavi, lot of studies have been done, you must look it up. With Shambhavi Mahamudra, they see large part of the brain is lit up. Not any particular thing, large part of the brain. This needs to happen, that everything is lit up. What you use is up to you. See, intelligence is not about usefulness. Intelligence creates profoundness of experience of life. The more you activate your intelligence, the more access you have into everything that you see.
Chief of Army Staff General Upendra Dwivedi paid tribute to martyrs in Noida of Uttar Pradesh on Saturday. General Dwivedi laid a wreath at the Martyrs Memorial honouring the sacrifices of fallen soldiers. The ceremony was attended by representatives of Army and Navy. Families of 42 martyrs were also paid their respects. Speaking to media, General Dwivedi welcomed the outcomes of Prime Minister Narendra Modi's visit to US, saying that it is immensely helpful for enhancing the capabilities of defence forces.
What I've heard, the statement which has been given out with the Foreign Secretary, it's a very encouraging step which has been taken. I can see that the 10-year plan has been proposed, and a lot of technology which will come to India, and we will be able to carry out the co-production. When you carry out the co-production, then what helps that we get Atmanirbharta, which is our main aim, it gets a major boost. The capability and the caliber of Indian Army will also get a major boost. Besides this, the defense exports as looked for by India, that will also gain importance.
And now to all the latest from the Mahakumbh, the largest and peaceful religious congregation in the world. Around 15,000 sanitation workers will strive to create a world record today by participating in the largest synchronized sweeping drive at the ongoing Mahakumbh Mela in Uttar Pradesh's Prayagraj. This comes in the backdrop of two remarkable world records created at the Mahakumbh on Friday. First, by becoming the largest event globally with over 500 million direct participants. The second is setting up a new benchmark for the largest ever synchronized river cleaning campaign. The initiative aims to highlight the core values of Mahakumbh by promoting cleanliness and environmental conservation while strengthening the message of collective responsibility to preserve the sanctity of key sites. And the Indian Railways is running Vande Bharat special superfast train from February 15 to 17 between New Delhi and Varanasi via Prayagraj. This is for the convenience of devotees intending to visit the Mahakumbh Mela. The decision was taken expecting rush for the Kumbh Mela during the weekend. Stylish design, superior speed and remarkable structure. India's Vande Bharat Express has turned 6. India's first Bharat train first, in fact, Vande Bharat train began operations in February 2019 on the Delhi-Varanasi route, officially inaugurated by Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi. The Vande Bharat Express is a symbol of India's self-reliance, as it was developed entirely by Indian engineers at the Integral Coach factory in Chennai. Currently, 78 Vande Bharat trains are running across the country. In fact, 78 trains are running across the country. It is also known as Train 18 and provides high-speed connectivity between major cities with enhanced passenger comfort. INSV Tarini makes history as Lieutenant Commander Dilna K and Lieutenant Commander Rupa A successfully crossed the treacherous waters of Cape Horn, located at the southern tip of South America, in the third leg of Navika Sagar Parikrama second expedition. This passage is known for its extreme winds, towering waves and unpredictable weather. The conditions in this region test even the most experienced mariners, thus making INSV Tarini's successful passage a significant achievement. Having braved these formidable waters, the officers have now earned themselves the esteemed title of being the Cape Horners, a designation traditionally given to the elite group of seafarers who have successfully navigated Cape Horn under sail. Let's take a look at other stories making news today. A tragic accident occurred at India's Prayagraj-Mirzapur highway on late Friday night. According to the officials, 10 people were killed when a car carrying devotees en route to Mahakumbh Mela collided with a bus. As soon as the accident was reported, police and emergency teams rushed to the spot. The other injured people were taken to hospital for treatment. India's President Draupadi Murmu graced the Platinum Jubilee celebrations of BIT Mesra at Ranchi, Jharkhand. Addressing the gathering, President Murmu expressed confidence that BIT Mesra will continue to make rich contributions to the continuing evolution of science and technology in India. The Central Bureau of Investigation conducted searches at 11 locations in Delhi, NCR and Haryana in ongoing investigation of a case related to cybercrime and recovered 1.08 crore INR foreign currency worth $1,000 and 252 grams of gold. The suspects impersonating as government officials were found cheating people in India and abroad by offering fake technical support consultations. Investigation is underway. The World Travel and Tourism Festival is being held at Major Dhyan Chand National Stadium in Delhi from February 14 to 16. The event, India's largest celebration of travel, was inaugurated by Noida MP and former Union Minister of State for Culture and Tourism Mahesh Sharma. In an update from the world of business now, OpenAI on Friday rejected $97.4 billion bid from a consortium led by Elon Musk for ChatGPT maker, saying the startup is not for sale and that any future bid would be disingenuous. OpenAI's board chairman, Brett Taylor, in a social media post said the board has unanimously rejected Musk's offer to buy the company as the OpenAI is not for sale. The statement further said that any potential reorganization of OpenAI will strengthen company's non-profit and its mission to ensure artificial general intelligence benefits all of humanity. Musk filed court documents on Wednesday saying that he would withdraw the offer to buy OpenAI if its board returns the artificial intelligence pioneer to a non-profit charity model. OpenAI currently operates a hybrid structure as non-profit with a money-making subsidiary. That's all for this edition of DD India Live, but let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. For those on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India and across the world on DD India mobile app. The app is available on both Android and iOS platforms, and you can scan the QR code on the screen to download now. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Prasar Bharati from all of us here in Delhi. Thanks for watching DD India Live.